Greetings and welcome, lords and ladies. You are listening to Planet Vrilock, your Psionics Digerati podcast, hosted by our Dr. Vrilock. Tonight's audio lecture is on the topic of astral projection, mental travel, ethereal travel. We'll tell you about these and tell you my story about an exciting out-of-body experience. So without further ado, let us explore this mystery. Astral projection, of course, is the travel through the astral realms, and this is this is accomplished by traveling with the astral body, which resides within your physical body. Ethereal travel is when we're traveling through the ether, and this may be closer to the material universe. Mental projection is when we are willfully projecting our presence to a location remotely, much like remote viewing, but more intimate, where we feel we are mentally there at the spot. We're not just receiving images, we're actually looking around and moving about mentally. These methods and techniques are explored in my download at vrilock.com/shop. The download is called Soul Keeper Combo. Soul Keeper Combo. So, if you're interested in that, learning about how to move around as a psionic race or to create psionic voyages, special types of thought forms, then Soul Keeper Combo is the download that you need this weekend. Alright, so my experience that I want to speak of, which I have so many, but this one was really interesting. I experienced the loss of my stepfather in January 2009. About a year or two after his passing, I decided to create my amplifier pattern. It's just a piece of paper with concentric circles surrounded by smaller circles, connected connected by hash marks at roughly 45 degree set apart. And in the center of this, I drew the sigil for murmur. Sometimes you can interchange that with other sigils, maybe Gaumigen. And I asked the sigil, put me in contact with my late stepfather. And the reason for this is there was a time when I was working on my computer and I had a headset connected to computer for voice to text software that I was testing and writing a review for. And at one point when I had put the headphones down, I saw on my screen something was being typed on the screen, and I assumed there was something wrong with the microphone, but I took a look at it, and the screen read, "This is Dad. I'm going to explain to you why I did such and such." And it was really strange. So I thought, well, he's trying to contact me. The best thing I can do is make an equal effort. And how do I know how to do this? Well, the only way I know is maybe psionics. So I print out an awesome amplifier, and I began focusing on my intent. When I felt my message is received by the sigil, then I pull out my pendulum and my dowsing charts, the same dowsing charts that are in the Necromancer Elite dowsing kit, plus more, much more. And I held the pendulum over the alphanumeric chart and asked, which is essentially something similar to a Ouija board, but not as dramatic, and much safer to use. After many years of experience, I can vouch for that. So I asked the question, what is it like over there on the other side? Now, I was expecting all manner of like fire and brimstone, or, it's either really good, or I'm atoning for my sins, or something, the usual thing that people worry about. But I kept a clear and open mind, and held my arms steady, and the pendulum began to swing. And as the pendulum oscillated and turned at an arc, it began to spell out an answer. At length, the answer I received was simply this: wondrous. So, my deceased stepfather was saying that the other side is wondrous. And there was a feeling that also came across as I was dowsing this, after realizing what was being spelled out on the dowsing chart. Wondrous. And that filled me with even more wonder. So, I went to bed, and an interesting thing happened. I awaken, and I'm sort of in what's called a semi-paralysis state. That's where it feels like I'm not breathing, and my body is like a heavy weight on the bed, and another part of me is lifting out of body. My right hand is flapping around just outside of the wrist, like a butterfly caught in a spider's web. I mean, moving back and forth, flapping around like a flipper at such a high speed. That's why I indicate it was like a butterfly trapped in a spider's web, flapping away for its life. Well, I reconnected my hand back to my physical hand and proceeded to go back to sleep. I wake up, but I'm not in my bed. Apparently, I'm not remembering the events preceding, I had been asleep in a car. Well, not really. I know for sure I fell asleep in my bed, but I wake up and I'm in a car. I'm in the passenger seat. And I look over as I roll my sleepy head over, and I see a very large hand on the transmission holding it. And a familiar thought came to me that my stepfather always held that transmission, even though it's an automatic transmission car, because he was so used to driving manual transmission, stick shift, as we used to call it in the 70s and the early 1980s, the stick shift, right? Well, I hear this voice. The voice says to me, "Tom, how do you like," or it was, I think he said, so Tom, how did you like all the material crap? So, Tom, how did you like all the material crap? I think that was implying, how did you like, chasing around all the so-called answers in the material world, perhaps poking fun at how we take life so incredibly seriously in the material world. And I knew that was my late stepfather speaking to me. And then the car goes boom. I guess we crashed. Yes, well, my stepfather was a really bad driver. And when this happens, sort of a metaphorical transition happens. Everything about me falls away from me. Like who I was, what I was hoping to be, the dream or the out-of-body experience itself flies away. Everything falls away. And I find myself once again in that very familiar void, where I experience not me, myself, but I, which is I. And I've talked about this before, the I am concept in the arcane teachings. And so when I'm there, I'm no longer Tom Vrilock or even Vrilock or even a human. I'm just I. And that place, this void, is sort of like a transition. And in some cases, the experience is vastly different, but I digress. I fell back into my body and woke up in bed, just marveling at the wondrous experiences that I had and that I've had many times and that I can have pretty much anytime I want to, solely because of my persistence in working psionics and paper magic, as they call it, machine dowsing magic, and so on. Psionics has so much wonderful territory to explore. It's simply amazing, and it's easy. I simply use awesome amplifiers and the Necromancer Elite Dowsing Kit. I have one of my own kits in personal pendulum with the engraved glyphs on it and the Vrilock emblem, and I use that to do my dowsing with, and my amplifiers to set my intent and purpose to project and manifest what I like or what I wish to experience. And it's all been very it's fantastic. It's fantastic when we begin to stop thinking that what we've been told is impossible, and get those training wheels off and just really start to live life the way we want to live and think the way we want to think, explore the things we really want to explore. And it's been full of blessings. Rough ride in the beginning, I think, when I was a child, because these forces in nature trying to wake me up, spiritual nature, saying, Tom, wake up, wake up. There's more to life than what you're learning in the school textbook. We want you to wake up and experience. And now I feel I am one with this spiritual community. And I hope you'll join with me too. If you are so willing and ready, I bid you welcome at Vrilock.club, where witches and wizards keep the magic high. And to follow my program, you will receive 5 years of audio and video at no extra charge inside the club that you may listen to and watch and enjoy. Plus, there are deep discounts up to 50% off on select items that you can take advantage of in the Vrilock Science Club. That's at Vrilock.club. That's VRILOCK.CLUB. Vrilock.club, where witches and wizards keep the magic high. Well, that's basically it for this evening. I think I've detailed what are the defining differences between remote viewing, mental projection, astral travel, and ethereal travel. I might delve into ethereal travel again and talk about that sometime, because it's an interesting topic. But for tonight, I do believe that'll be all. I hope you'll join me, Vrilock.com and Vrilock.club, where witches and wizards keep the magic high. Herr Doctor, bid you farewell.